It is one of the most consumed cheeses in the world. Its delicious flavor makes hamburgers tastier. In the United States alone, 1.5 billion kilograms are consumed annually. And it is made using centuries-old methods. But how is cheddar cheese made? Cheddar cheese is a cheese originating from England that is made from cow's milk. It was one of the first cheeses to be produced on a large scale in factories in the early 19th century, which allowed cheddar cheese to become more accessible and popular worldwide. Traditionally, true cheddar must be made within a 50-kilometer radius of Wells Cathedral, using an ancient consecrated recipe that always starts with milk. In the UK, around 333,000 tons of cheddar are produced each year. The cheese must be made with milk from herds grazing within 50 kilometers of a farm. It must be made with a traditional recipe and matured for a minimum of 9 months. The Gorgeous Company produces 60 tons of cheese per year. After a hard day of cow rumination, they head to the barn to be milked with a modern hydraulic pump. Their protein-rich milk has the perfect percentage of fat for delicious cheddar cheese. They are selectively bred to produce milk-filled cubes, and each one yields over 12,000 liters per year. The first step in making cheddar cheese is receiving and pasteurizing the milk. The fresh milk is quickly taken to the dairy in the center of the village of Cheddar. In the morning, 2,000 liters of milk arrive from a farm located 6 kilometers away. It takes about 10 liters of milk to make one cheddar cheese. To keep it fresh, it is pumped through pipes to refrigerated storage vats with a capacity of 120,000 liters. The milk is received from suppliers and undergoes a pasteurization process to eliminate any harmful bacteria that may be present in raw milk. The milk is stirred, which evenly mixes the fat throughout the milk. Pasteurization is done by heating the milk to a high temperature for a short period of time and then quickly cooling it. This helps maintain the quality and safety of the milk and is a critical step in making cheddar cheese and other dairy products. Once the milk has been pasteurized, dairy cultures and rennet can be added. Inside this vat are 1,900 liters of milk that will be transformed into 8 cheeses weighing 25 kilograms each. To start the process, they heat the milk to 32 degrees Celsius. Then they add bacteria for fermentation. Some of these beneficial bacteria are already naturally present in the milk. Dairy cultures are beneficial bacteria that help ferment the lactose present in the milk, producing lactic acid and giving the cheese its characteristic flavor. To speed up this process, they add rennet. Rennet is naturally produced in calf stomachs, but here they use a synthetic version. Rennet is an enzyme that is added to the milk and causes it to coagulate, transforming the liquid milk into a solid mass called curd. They convert the lactose sugars into lactic acid, which helps develop the flavor and triggers a coagulation process. Coagulation is simply the thickening of the milk proteins. The milk solids have come together to form an extraordinarily smooth and soft mass. This is finally the glorious curd. As it thickens, the milk separates into fat and protein solids called curd, and a liquid called whey. The thicker curd will be used to make cheese. After adding the dairy cultures and rennet, the milk is allowed to rest for a while so that the cultures and rennet can do their work and produce the curd. Once the curd is formed, it is then cut into small cubes and heated. The liquid whey needs to be drained, so the workers cut the mixture. The smaller the curd, the more whey it releases, and the harder the cheese. This process helps release the whey and allows the curd to compact more easily. After cutting, cheesemakers usually cook the curd while draining the whey. Then they raise the temperature, which accelerates coagulation and allows the whey to drain. The liquid is rich in proteins, amino acids, and sugars, so it is used as feed for the pigs in the area. The whey concentrate is also used to make isotonic drinks, powdered infant milk, and custard. The solidified curd is placed with a shovel on a cooling table. Any trapped whey residue must be removed. They use a technique employed by all cheesemakers called cheddaring. This is a critical process in making cheddar cheese and what gives the cheese its unique texture and flavor. The curd is cut into bars and stacked on top of each other. As the tower grows, the weight of each block squeezes out more whey. The layers are flipped and compressed several times over a period of several hours. This helps expel the remaining whey and develop the texture and characteristic flavor of cheddar cheese. Salt is added to draw out the liquid and help kill unwanted microorganisms that could spoil the cheese. Salt enhances the flavor, develops the texture, helps extract moisture from the cheese, and is also a natural preservative. The curd is hand-salted to preserve it and then ground into small pieces. Then the bars are chopped to release even more moisture. This turns the curd into young cheese, but it is still very moist. The cheeses are transferred to 8 stainless steel molds. They are pressed into a 25-kilogram mold and left overnight. The molds have a cylindrical shape and a series of holes on the side to allow the remaining whey to drain. Once pressing is complete, the cheese is removed from the molds and allowed to mature. Most commercial cheddars come wrapped in plastic, but here each reel is dressed in a traditional cotton muslin cloth. Microorganisms could penetrate the fabric and mold the cheese. To prevent this, butter is rubbed on the cheese and muslin cloth. This protects the cheddar while it matures, allowing it to breathe without drying out. The secret is to let it mature in the traditional way, in its own natural fridge in the cheddar gorge. It is placed in a maturation cave for a period of time that can vary from a few weeks to several years, depending on the type of cheddar cheese being produced. All mature and aged cheddars are stored where they are turned and the mold is vacuumed. The cheese variety is taken to the famous cave. Constant temperature and humidity close to 98% provide the perfect conditions for cheese maturation. Moisture content is a critical component and ensures that cultures and enzymes progress more rapidly, producing a more complex flavor. These caves have a constant temperature just below 12 degrees. They are limestone caves. Water is constantly seeping through. The humidity is usually 98%. Very high and perfect for cheese. The cheese acquires the natural yeast and mold from the cave atmosphere, giving it a delicious flavor. The strength of the cheese is defined by the aging duration. 500 cheeses weighing 25 kilograms each mature at once for up to 18 months. As it matures, good bacteria and enzymes slowly break down the proteins and fat, developing a sweet and tangy aroma and a creamy flavor. The longer it matures, the stronger the flavor. Every 4 weeks, the cheeses are rubbed and flipped. As it ages, the flavors that develop become more intense. Once mature, they test a 25-kilogram wheel from each batch to see if the cheese is ready. When the cheese has matured enough, it undergoes a cutting and packaging process. The cheese is cut into blocks or slices and packaged for distribution and sale. Cheddar cheese can be used in a wide variety of dishes and recipes and is one of the most popular and versatile cheeses in the world. Like the video if you enjoyed it and share it with someone else who might be interested. Also, subscribe to this channel by activating notifications to keep learning.